We are working in Module 19 now, and in this particular module, I'm going to go over some of the additional features that Excel has. Some of these are just little small things, but they're really helpful when you need them. I want to go ahead and start here in Section 1 with what we call slicers. A slicer is basically a way to filter your data visually, and you're going to filter that data from pivot tables you've created. Let me show you how slicers work. Like I mentioned, your slicers are just a visual way to filter your data, but the data has to already be in a pivot table. That's the little key here. I'm going to go ahead and click inside my pivot table. And when I click on the Insert tab, you'll notice that over here is a grouping called Filters, and there's a slicer option right here. If you click on that, you're going to get this dialog box that pops up that says Insert Slicers. This is a list of all of your fields or your column headings from your data. You click on the ones that you'd like to create a slicer for. I'll choose the store and the sales rep and click OK. And these are what we call slicers. Now you might notice that they came in on top of each other. This is just an object, so if you'd like to move it, you just get up in this area here and click and drag it wherever you'd like it to be. Notice you could also change the size of these if you needed to, or if you didn't want to change the size, notice I can scroll since this one has quite a few sales reps in the list. Here's the general idea of how slicers work. If I wanted to see one store and all the sales reps in that one store, I could click Buffalo, for example, and now I'm seeing that Kent and Pulaski are the only two reps in the Buffalo store. You can see this one has a filter applied. I can hit the X if I want to take the filter off, and then I'll see everyone again. Let's say I want the Rochester store. I can see there are two people in the Rochester store. And if I hold the Control key and click Syracuse, you can see now there are 4 sales reps between the two of those. Holding Control lets you choose more than one store in this case. If you want to clear your filters, you can hit the X and clear your filters. You can arrange the slicers in any way you like. I've got these side by side, but let's say that I'd like to arrange them maybe one on top of another like this, or maybe they're not lined up just the way I want and I want to line them up. There's several things I can do. What I'm going to do is go ahead and go to the Slicer Tools Contextual tab again. And right underneath that, you'll see several things. For example, if I want to align these, I can hold the Shift key and click them both, and then I can choose to align, and let's say I align the tops. Now they're perfectly lined up on the top here. Let's say I do want this one to sit on top of this one, and then I change my mind and say I'd like to bring the store forward. As long as I'm clicked on Sales Rep, I can send it backwards. If I choose the Send to Back option, that sends it all the way to the back of the stack, versus the other option would have sent it one layer at a time, and we only have one layer in this case. My point is there are multiple ways that you can actually work with the look of how these are set up on your screen here. The other thing I want to mention is that you have the ability to go in and change the styles. You'll notice here it says Slicer Styles, and you'll want to drop down your scroll bar because I might want this one to be green, or I might want this to be one of these orange colors. You can go in and just change the style, what you'd like your slicers to look like. One of the things, if you get really advanced with Excel, you'll learn how to create what's called a dashboard. Basically, a dashboard is when you open the file, you would see a screen that shows you maybe some charts, maybe some slicers, just a visual representation of the data in this file. And one of the things people do there is they create slicers so they show up when they actually open the file. That's just a quick overview of how slicers work. Why don't we go into section 2 and talk a little bit about working with the goal seeker.